force for your school and hometown. Let tonight's contest reflect mutual respect. We welcome our guys from West Genesee along with everyone watching this game remotely and wish all the participants good luck in tonight's game. At this time, if able, please rise, remove your hats. You should place your right hand over your heart for the singing of our national anthem. We're pleased to have a recording of the CNS High School Chorus singing our anthem tonight. Our CNS High School Chorus. And now for the starting lineups. First for the visiting West Genesee Wildcats. Cunningham. Junior number 10, Aaron DePaula. Junior number 14, Molly Benetti. Senior number 22, Molly Coy. And junior number 23, Molly James. The Wildcats are led by head coach Stanford Springer, assisted by Stephen Frawley and Nicole Carey. North Star fans, please welcome our starting lineup. Starting guard, sophomore, number 5, Sydney Neshy. And guard, junior, number 12, Francesca Tortora. And guard, junior, number 23, Alina Carey Santangelo. And forward, senior, number 34, Jessica Kahn. And forward, senior, number 42, Julia Rowe. The North Stars were led by head coach Rob Sleichett, assisted by Bill O'Keefe. Referees tonight's game, Doug Kazoot and Chip Kohansky.
A warm welcome from Cicero, North Syracuse High School, as we have a fantastic SCAC Metro girls basketball matchup upon us. The Cicero, North Syracuse Lady North Stars coming in at 6-0 on the season, number 1 in the SCAC Conference, taking on the 4-2 West Genesee Wildcats. Giovanni Heater alongside Kyle Marshak, your broadcast team for tonight. Kyle, what a matchup we have here at Cicero North Syracuse High School.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, West Johnny tucked patiently in 4th place, a 4-2 squad. So, you know, a team that's really supposed to challenge the North Stars, who really haven't had many of those challenges just yet this season, Gio.
Now, these two teams opened up the season against each other. It was a 72-42 victory for the North Stars, but this Wildcat squad has been much improved. Again, sitting with a 4-2 record, coming off an impressive 74-47 victory over Liverpool. And on the other side, the North Stars coming off an 86-17 blowout against Henninger. We're underway at center court here in the CNS Gymnasium, and an early bucket for the North Stars as Alita Carey Santangelo finds Sydney Neshi, who dropped 10 against Henniger the other night.
Alita's an absolute dog in the court. She's going to continue to do that all night. Her ball movement's elite, and so is the rest of the Lady North Stars.
Now, the big girl to watch for the Wildcats is Katie Cunningham. 9 rebounds per game on the season, as well as 24 points, the true star on this West Genesee team. Carey Santangelo laying it up and in on the other end, and the North Stars take an early 4-0 lead.
Yeah, absolutely. As you mentioned, Cunningham, the girl to watch for these West Genesee Wildcats. I mean, 9 rebounds, 24 points. That's almost averaging a double-double, and certainly the girl that's supposed to compete with Jess Cook tonight for the North Stars.
Feed to the inside. Jessica Cook was there to take it away. Cook running the floor. Cook with the floater off the window and in. And the North Stars are rolling early on.
Quick start for the North Stars, Gio. A lot of changes for the Wildcats they're going to have to make on the inside because Jess Cook's height advantage is very apparent early on.
Now, we expected a good tight matchup, but you can't let a team like CNS get out early. A three-pointer off the mark here for the Wildcats. It was Molly Coyne trying to connect. It's a feed from Julia Rowe to Jessica Cook. This time she doesn't strike the net, gets her own rebound, left it short, and a rebound down low for the Wildcats. Molly Bonetti was there. Foul on the floor. It goes against Francesca Tortora, her first, and we'll head the other way.
Gio, you and I were here for that last CNS matchup, that blowout against Henniger, and already it's getting handsy again, so perhaps a lot of fouls on the floor tonight too.
Not only were there a lot of fouls, but in that game it was just a defensive onslaught by the North Stars, and it was led by Alita Carey Santangelo. Taking the ball away in the middle of the floor, especially in transition, was her specialty, and that's why the North Stars were just able to continue stretching such a massive lead. Cook for 3. Off the rim, no good. Alita trying to fight for the rebound. Tortora's there, kicks it off the foot of a Wildcat. Will stay down here. What an athletic play out of Francesca Tortora, the Stony Brook lacrosse commit.
Everlasting agility for a girl like her. Stony Brook for lax is not an easy feat to do, and all these speed and athleticism on display there with her hand speed right there.
Jessica open again from 3. She won't elect to shoot it. Buries her way to the inside. Kick out. Santangelo wants a triple, and she banks it home. Empower must be open early, Kyle, because Carey Santangelo hit it off the backboard and kissed it in.
Yeah, some early glass work, and now she's getting the steal, Gio.
Santangelo, a dominant force on both ends of the court. Julia Rowe inside. Kicks it out. Sid Neshi for 3. Way too far off the left window. Picked up by Francesca Tortora, a hustle play. Back to Sid Neshi. Down low, it's Jess Cook, the floater, and she takes some contact to the grill. She'll head to the free throw line for 2.
Absolutely, Jess Cook, that's a part of her game, working in the post. She averages 4.5 free throws per game as well, Gio. So she's definitely one of the best at drawing fouls, and you can expect that out of her all night.
Time out the floor, 30-second timeout, Wildcats.
And we'll get our first timeout of the evening. Head coach Stafford Spreeder wants to talk things over on the West Genesee sideline, Kyle, and they've dug themselves into a little bit of a hole here. Now, it's only 9-0 on the scoreboard, but 9-0 against CNS feels like a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, it'll continue to spread, really, if you don't make a change quick, which is why Coach Streeter has elected this timeout only a few minutes into the game, because there are a few minutes in the game and there's no points on the board yet for the Wildcats, a team that usually has some very high offensive numbers. I mean, you mentioned it, Katie Cunningham, 24 points per game. The problem with the Wildcats is how much can they spread that wealth, Gio? The ball movement is good on both sides, but there's only really one large scorer on the Wildcats, and that's Katie Cunningham.
And it's worth shouting out here tonight, Kyle, which can probably be seen on our fantastic camera, that our CNS varsity cheerleaders are in attendance for the first time this season to cheer on the Lady North Stars upon the court. So definitely awesome to have them back. It makes it feel a little bit more normal, so to speak, as this is the COVID era of high school basketball and sports around the world. Jess Cook at the free throw line rattles off the first. The 9-0 lead remains. Here's Jess Cook for another. And rattles off the second as well. Jess goes 0 for 2 from the charity stripe. And here's West Genesee with an opportunity, Kyle. Let's see what they're able to do. DePaula gives it back off to the top. Three-pointer off the back rim. Too strong. Trying to find it was Molly Coyne. but an offensive rebound for the Wildcats. Another triples up, and it's good! Molly James, the junior from downtown, and that's just what the Wildcats needed. The North Stars moving quickly on the other end. Carrie Santangelo can't hit. Offensive rebound, Tortora no good. And the Wildcats converge on the loose ball.
That's a great possession for the Wildcats to make a statement out of that timeout. Molly James averages only 3 points per game, and she's already matched that tonight.
Katie Cunningham trying to find her way down low. Ball flew out of bounds, will stay on this end. And that's just a good play out of Katie Cunningham. Just kind of Euro step, get to the inside, trying to get to the tin, trying to draw a foul. West Genesee now to inbound. Jess Cook chasing after it, and she closes in on it. Look at the speed out of Cook. The Euro step of her own, and just too strong on the layup.
Yeah, not often that she doesn't finish from the other end of the steal. All the girls in the Lady North Stars are capable of getting that ball at the top of the key and running it down the court. And you can tell they work the small things too, because the speed on every player is impressive.
Three-pointer off the mark for Molly Coyne once again, off the feed from James. And now Sid Neshy running the court for the North Stars. Back to Neshy, now Jess Cook. Francesca Tortora. Back to Sid Neshy. Feet down low, it's Cook. Kick out corner, Alita Carey Santangelo. Back to Neshy, over to Julia Rowe. In the corner with Santangelo again. Now to Cook. Cook a drive, a floater, and way short. It'll go out of bounds. Will head the other way. And that's a really good defensive possession out of the West Genesee Wildcats right there, Kyle, to hold the North Stars scoreless.
Absolutely. I think that makes another statement off of that timeout. Obviously, they started with that three-pointer, a couple of good possessions. The ball movement looks fantastic. And, you know, one thing to note on the inside is maybe Jess Cook will struggle a little bit tonight because although the average height of the North Stars is much taller at 5'9", the Wildcats only a little bit shorter. They still definitely have a, good-sized squad. And so perhaps Jess Cook will not be used to that on the inside.
Now West Genesee trying to make something happen here. Kick to the middle, and striking the net pure is Morgan Valerino. And the Wildcats have responded. Both teams playing a full court press. Julia Rowe tried to be there, gets her own miss. This one rolls off the rim. Tortora's there. She can't finish. And a rebound by Bridget Dunham will head the other way.
Good job of the Wildcats again, keeping their hands straight up in the air, and the defense is fantastic on the inside once again for a second straight possession.
Good pump fake. Jess Cook tipped it away, and it was scooped up by Alita Carey Santangelo. North Stars from right to left. Jess Cook, the and one, and she'll head to the free throw line. The opportunity to make it a three-point play.
And right off the bat, you notice the pace, the tempo set by the Lady North Stars up and down the court. Even their larger players, Jess Cook, the center, quickly up and down the court and finishing when she needs to, drawing the fouls.
Now checking into the game for the North Stars will be Samantha Klein at the point guard spot, as well as Kat Teru, the freshman guard, standing at 5'10", dropped 12 points. And she picks up a rebound and dishes one in as well. Kat Teru, a really dynamic player off the bench for this North Star squad. West Genesee for three, wanted that one, couldn't get it. It was Katie Cunningham. And instead, the North Stars will push the tempo a little bit, 13-5. And the North Stars have kind of taken the momentum back just a little bit here. Jess Cook pulls up, free throw line, left it short off the front of the rim, and a rebound down low, Erin DePaula. Here's DePaula going at Carey Santangelo. Three-pointer, and striking the net is Katie Cunningham, the senior for West Jenny.
Yeah, they're not afraid to shoot from the outside. And, the performances for the players off the bench right now is going to be so important, like Sam Klein in the game for the North Stars, and Kat Teru, as I mentioned earlier. She's a girl who's not afraid to score against the Wildcats either. 10 points in her first matchup against them.
Jess Cook down low, spins, couldn't finish, gets her own miss, puts it up, and she will head to the free throw line, it appears.
You can see the up-tempo pace is really taking a toll on Jess Cook. She's been up and down the court quicker than everyone, and really a player that's not supposed to be moving as fast as she is. It's so impressive, Gio.
Yeah, no, she seemed to be stretching out that leg. Obviously not an injury, just seemed to be stretching out those legs a little bit. 2:01 left on the clock here in quarter number one. Cook leaves the first one too strong. 13-8's your score. 2:01 left to play here, and the North Stars haven't buried West Genesee so far yet in the first quarter. The Wildcats just get a bucket when they need it, continue to hang in there. Jess Cook finally makes one, so she's 1 for 4 from the free throw line, and she definitely has a sigh of relief. She looked a little discouraged at first with herself after missing 3 free throws. Julia Rowe was right there to pick her up. Just fantastic to see. Those two have been playing together on the varsity team for a long time, so you love to see that camaraderie.
Absolutely.
And
5 years
sisterhood.
to be exact.
Incredible. West Genesee in need of a bucket here. 14-8. 1:45 left to go. Cunningham spins, puts one up the end one. That's a big bucket out of the senior Katie Cunningham.
Cunningham's game is so good. And, especially in, this section, it's so tough with the tenacity of the defenders to create space. But she does it better than everyone else, creating the space, turning around, hitting the shot.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more. She created her own shot on that one, was able to draw the contact. And that's, again, a situation where West Genesee just has that big play to send it right back at the North Stars. We saw it right there.
Absolutely. Huge statement right there.
And Cunningham buries the free throw. And just like that, we have a 3-point ball game, Marshak, with 1.5 minutes to go here in the first quarter. And a travel is called against Sam Klein. Here's West Genesee again. A 3 would tie. Cunningham down low, kisses it off the glass and puts it in. The feed from Erin DePaula, finding her star, Katie Cunningham, and West Genesee has come back and swung hard at the North Stars.
I think if her supporting cast tonight and Cunningham and the Wildcats are all there, scoring on the inside, making the right plays and feeding her, they'll have a good game tonight. They'll stay in it because the problem right now for the Wildcats is that they really rely on Katie Cunningham to be their scorer. And if they spread the wealth, they'll have a lot more success going on.
Absolutely, and it's going to be the movement off ball that is key. Kat Teru struggled with that one. 1:05 left to go, 1-point game. West Genesee very much hanging in this thing. An opportunity, a bucket would take the lead. Cunningham nearly gets her pocket picked. Winds up in the hands of Cameso. Back to Cunningham. Cunningham a drive. Dish to the inside. And Howell is there for the North Stars, but a foul is called. So heading to the free throw line is Molly Benetti, the junior. She'll shoot 2. 2 of them would take a lead. 1 of them would tie the ball game. And Jess Cook's going to check right back in for Julia Rowe. Keep your eyes out, though, for Madeline Howell. The sophomore for the North Stars had 7 points against Henniger, was really a dominant force on the glass. We had mentioned that throughout the game. And she's kind of that next person up, right? Julia Rowe's going to be gone. Jessica Cook's going to be gone after this year. She's kind of that next big down low to play that 5 spot for the North Stars. She looked promising against Henniger with her ability to rebound the basketball and her ability to just stay strong down low.
Absolutely. I think the work on the inside is in the good hands of the next generation with Kat Teru and Maddie Howell. I mean, they just look so aware. Their bodily awareness for young ladies at their height is just so impressive here.
Under half a minute to go. Carrie Santangelo, the floater, left it too strong. Offensive rebound. Tortora can't finish. Cook is there, and the whistle's blown, a foul. How many times is Jess Cook going to do that this year, Kyle? She gets to the inside, picks up the rebound, and she's able to draw the contact.
And the best part is for all the fouls that she draws, she usually puts a bucket up with it. She averages 11 field goals per game. None of them really three-pointers just yet, although we saw that she was shooting a couple earlier.
She did put one up. That was the first time I saw her do it all season. 21.3 left to go on the clock. The North Stars have grown the lead to 3. This would make it a 2-possession ball game. Cook too strong. Rebound here and a good one for Katie Cunningham running the floor along the right side of your screen. Cunningham a drive. Cunningham tries to find the middle of the court, but Jess Cook was there to take it away. Inside to Cook down low. Cook lays it up and in for 2, Kyle. She is just so good and so fun to watch.
Body's flying everywhere, Gio. She finds her way to the rim.
And the heave is off the mark. That will conclude quarter number 1. The North Stars will head to the sideline with a 5-point lead. 8 minutes underway. 18-13 is the lead for CNS. Kyle, what an explosive first half we saw. Like I said, the North Stars have had the advantage. But every time they make something happen, West Genesee has had the response. A couple of big plays go their way. You saw a couple of three-pointers out of Molly Coyne, and you saw Katie Cunningham with some big outbursts as well.
Absolutely. I mean, it feels like a long-distance race over, a 32-minute basketball game. You see a runner go ahead, right? And you have to stay with them. You have to make the moves, match their move. And West Genesee's been matching their move so far in this first quarter. And going into the second half, you can expect them to do the same.
Fantastic analogy to my left side, best broadcast partner in the world, Kyle Marshak. West Genesee, if you're West Genesee, Kyle, you're at 4-2 on the season. You lost to CNS by 30 in the season opener. You're fifth in the you're fifth in the conference overall, but fourth in the SCAC Metro Division. A win tonight for West Genesee could go a really, really long way.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think there's a lot to credit to it, but one thing is, the quiet leadership of Stafford Streeter, a 6-year head coach now, so more experience than the average coach, which is funny to say, really, because there's so many new coaches. Of course, Rob Sykes, the new head coach for the North Stars, and really inherited such a talented team, but man, is he doing a great job as well.
Well, he did have a lot of success in his tenure at Janesville DeWitt. You're talking state championship runs, you're talking section championships, and now he takes it up a level, going from Class B to Class AA to come coach the North Stars. And here we go, back to basketball. Quarter number 2 underway, 18-13 is your lead for CNS. 8 minutes left to go before the halftime break. Katie Cunningham, a little bit of a trap. You see the North Stars trying to double team her, and it's working. Flinging it over to the left side. Three-pointers up, off the mark to the right side. Molly Coyne couldn't hit. Molly Coyne, rather. And the North Stars will head up the floor. Julia Rowe open at the top. Pulls up for a deep 2 and splashes the net. Julia Rowe, the senior. She's a quiet assassin, Kyle. Doesn't do it in the box score necessarily as far as points go, but man, is she scrappy on the boards, and she deserved that one.
Absolutely. I'd say she's probably the most underrated Lady North Star for sure, because her game is so quietly perfect. Her defense is awesome. She draws fouls when she needs to, and she definitely cleans the glass. And
a jump ball is called as Francesca Tortora gets in it with Katie Cunningham, and we'll head the other way. The North Stars with the possession arrow. 7:18 to go, 20-13. The North Stars with their largest lead now by 7. There's Alita Carey Santangelo running the show right now for CNS. Right wing. Gives it off to the top row. Now it's Tortora. Thought about a 3. Picks up her dribble. Pulls up from downtown. And the bank is open again. Francesca Tortora from deep.
Tortora averaging 5 points per game thus far, and she's already matched that total, so she's having a hot start.
Katie Cunningham with a response, and an N1 on the other side of the floor. Cunningham again averaging 24 points a game and 9 rebounds. The senior, just the leader and the heart and soul of this West Genesee basketball team, kind of putting the team on her back at this point. Hits the free throw. She's consistent there as well at the line. And now West Genesee had a much-needed response. 23-16, the North Stars still lead it by 7. And here's Alita Carey Santangelo. Kick to the inside, Jessica Cook. Off the window and in. Jessica Cook cannot be stopped.
Jess Cook works so well in the post, uses all of her size, but the best part about it is that when she gets that ball up, she forces it in, and so quick, too.
Look at the hook shot on the other end of the floor for Erin DePaula. Again, just when CNS has a bucket, West Genesee has had the response. Julia Rowe gives to the left side, Sid Neshi. Neshi finding somewhere to swing it. She finds the hands of Cook. Off to Tortora. Now Alita, she wants 3. Off the back rim, no good, too strong, and a rebound for the Wildcats. Molly Benetti pulled it down, and West Genesee will head up the floor. 3-pointers up, and it's good. Bridget Dunham, the freshman, Kyle, and Coach Spreeder told us how much of an explosion she can be off the bench.
Absolutely, Bridget Dunham. I mean, definitely one of the younger faces to look out for. And so, even with all the talent on the roster right now, the Wildcats are in good hands.
Neshi to Cook for 2. And the North Stars just continue to roll. Kick towards the middle, but a lay-in on the other end of the floor. It's Molly Benetti, the junior, down low. And Benetti and Cook are going to be fun to watch throughout the night going at each other at that 5 position.
Absolutely. I think Benetti's one of the taller players in Section 3 and probably the closest to, Jess Cook's size. But what's most important is how bodily aware, how quick and athletic they are for, a 6-foot-plus young lady.
A turnover here for the North Stars. West Genesee stretching the floor, and a jump ball is called. Katie Cunningham wanted a foul. It'll stay on this end of the floor. The Wildcats do have the possession arrow. Cunningham thought she got her arm slapped for sure. And actually, before the game, Kyle, the referees were telling us that we should do referee interviews at halftime.
Yeah, not sure how that would go.
Look at Alita Carey Santangelo swatting that ball out of bounds. I mean, that's just a statement, right? You could just tap it out. Now she swats that thing all the way out of the heat.
Yeah, Carey Santangelo, similar to Cunningham, one of those taller guards who's one of those rebounding leaders, which is just so impressive. I mean, if you're a guard, you're supposed to be playing at the top of the key. She gets to the inside, she can clean up any mess.
Here's Katie Cunningham. Off the dribble, spins from the elbow, gives it off. Top of the key 3. Off the rim, no good. Cunningham the rebound. She can't finish, and now she pulls it back out. Gets her own miss once again. Here's Cunningham with 23 on the shot clock. Feed to the inside, and a foul is called. Morgan Valerino, the senior, will head to the charity stripe for 2.
Absolutely. Cunningham kind of getting an assist on that play, going right at the young player in Kat Drew, who's looked so poised tonight. I think she's another face that's completely underrated on the North Star squad.
Couple of substitutions here. Colleen McInerney, the junior for West Genesee, checks into the ball game for the first time tonight. And Kat Teru in the ball game for the North Stars. Valerino misses the second off the rim, rattled it around and fell off. So the North Stars pushing the tempo. They just move so quick. Jess Cook can't finish, gets her own miss. Can't hit the second one either. Fighting for the rebound. Look at the scrappy play out of Katie Cunningham. Going coast to coast, end to end, can't finish. Jess Cook pulls it down, and it's getting chippy a little bit down low, Kyle. Both teams moving incredibly fast up and down the floor. Julia Rowe from downtown, and Julia Rowe dialed one up.
Rowe's picking it up a little bit. She draws a ton of fouls, but man, is she improving her finishing and shooting ability, Gio.
Impressive tonight, hit a deep 2, and that time knocked down the triple. If you leave her open like that, she was definitely going to take the opportunity to shoot. 3:47 left to play. The North Stars back to a 7-point advantage. Three-pointer from the left wing, and the response is there again, Kyle. Colleen McInerney.
I mean, it's unbelievable, really. Such a high-tempo game, and you could say that the North Stars set the pace, but the Wildcats responding every single time, and that's how they're going to stay with the North Stars tonight. Last time it was a 30-point blowout. Right now, it's looking like it's going to be a tie game going into second half.
Carrie Santangelo off to Julia Rowe. Now they have to push out on Rowe and can't leave her open, but she'll take 3, and she'll knock it down. Julia Rowe with 2 3-point daggers in a row.
Back-to-back, baby. We're thinking about that heat check soon. Julia Rowe looking very comfortable from the top of the key.
She stared down the defender with a hand in her face and knocked it down with poise. How about the senior Julia Rowe?
That is what you call a dagger from the top of the key. I mean, she's looking so confident right now. And I think, Gio, that's the biggest one is, some of her stats are quiet. She's a great rebounder. She can drop assists, draws fouls. It was the points that we worried about. Coming into this matchup, averaging only 3 points per game. Right now, she's more than tripled that.
This is her best offensive performance that we've seen so far this year, and she's been consistently burying buckets. The North Stars almost force a turnover. West Jenny misses the 3. Alita Carey Santangelo is there, and the roof probably would have blown off this place if Bridget Dunham would have hit that shot, but instead the North Stars take it the other way. Tortora dials one up, left it too strong to the right side, and the rebound is there for Molly James.
I think the roof would have blown off if Tortora hit that 3 as well.
I agree with you on that one. 2.5 to play. North Stars lead it 33-26. Their largest of the night remains. Now off to Molly James. James trying to create some separation. Gives it back to Cunningham. Cunningham, a drive to the inside. Off the window and in, Kyle. Are you kidding me? Katie Cunningham doing it herself.
Cunningham with 12 points and 7 rebounds last game, and she's probably more than matched that right now for this girls' squad. Excuse me.
Here's Kat Taru left side. Up to Julia Rowe. There's the heat check. Oh, my goodness, Kyle. 3 from downtown in a row, and that's what you call a heat check.
What did I say, Gio? Watch out for the heat check way deep, and she drills that one. That's a statement.
Confidence out of the senior. And a timeout is called on the floor. Coach Stafford Spreeder needs to talk things over. And you gotta leave Julia Rowe the opportunity if you're the North Stars. Keep feeding her the rock.
I said it, Gio. Underrated player, but you can't say she's underrated now. What a performance out of Rowe early on. Oh,
absolutely incredible. And Julia Rowe is just hot from downtown. She cannot be stopped right now.
If she hits any more, I'm surprised enough, Gio.
Well, I almost blew out the voice on that one, Marshak. Yeah. I think if she hits another one, we have seen it before. I mean, Joey Penizzato standing behind us for the boys squad. And he hit that dagger, and I believe what game was that? That was the Corcoran game. Yes, yeah, and my voice just decided, hey, you know, we're gonna give up today, and the crack was real, and then it just stayed. But, you know, we came back. You were there to cover for me, big guy.
Of course. You know what, Gio? All a part of the excitement of North Stars basketball. And the best part about Rowe's performance right now is she has way more to her game than shooting threes. She's a great rebounder. And really, this is the first game that we've seen her, shooting threes. And I hope she continues to do so.
And, man, if you're West Genesee right now, just what an unlucky break, right? Because they're still keeping themselves in this game, but CNS is just hitting these incredible shots from deep, and it's all Julia Rowe. She's got 9 points in the last 3 minutes, and if you're West Jenny, you just have to keep composed, keep in this game. You're only down 8 despite these shots from Julia Rowe. I mean, if she doesn't hit those, then this is actually a West Genesee winning situation. So, yeah. I mean, Rowe just took this game over.
Absolutely. I mean, it's as good as it gets and as unlucky as it gets for the West Genesee Wildcats. I mean, they're staying with the North Stars so well. Had all those buckets just been simple, buckets that the North Stars usually create for themselves, where they work in the post, draw fouls, get to the inside, they're usually 2-point buckets, the Wildcats would still be in this game. But, 3-pointers in a row, and Tortora hit one earlier. I mean, Alita Santangelo not afraid to shoot from 3. This is just ridiculous from the North Stars right now.
And let's see what West Genesee can cook up here. We saw Spreeder do some really good things out of the timeout. Let's see what they have to offer. Well, that's not what you wanted. Sid Neshi takes it away, up the floor in transition. Foul's called. She'll shoot 2.
Yeah, Sid Neshi averaging 8 points per game right now, and only a few starts now. I believe this is only her second start. You're definitely feeling the impact of Alexa Kulikowski, who's out. She's a 3-point shooter, averages 2 3-pointers per game. So, man, would she add to this total? But it looks like the North Stars not necessarily in need of that right now. Julia Rowe fitting right in.
Jess Cook checked out of the game. It's worth noting Madeline Howell back in for the North Stars, who we mentioned has been really consistent in the last couple for CNS. The future of the program at that 5 spot. Forward position. Neshi hit the first, second one's up, too strong, and a great rebound for Katie Cunningham. 1.5 to play before we take a locker room break. Katie Cunningham on the inside, nearly hit the and one, but she will head to the charity stripe to shoot 2.
Cunningham with 38 free throws in this season. That has to be a section leader. I mean, she just draws so many fouls. That's a part of her game as well. With all her size, she forces her way in as well. I mean, she's definitely a tall guard, but that's got to be an impressive aspect of her game to draw all those fouls. And
she's incredibly consistent from the free throw line, Kyle. Broadcasters jinx, but we haven't seen her miss one yet tonight. We haven't even seen her hit one that wasn't a swish either. And the broadcasters jinx is not real because Cunningham swishes home. It's 2 of them right there.
That tells you just how good a player she is.
Here's Kat Taru up the floor, and she double dribbled, costly for the North Stars. She had out a 2-on-1 situation. She could have either taken it herself or given it off down low to Howell. Instead, she put 2 fists on it. And the lead remains 7. West Genesee will try and cut into that here. 1:15 left to go. A big bucket could go a long way if you're the Wildcats. And they have it in the hands of their star player, Katie Cunningham. Steps back, 3-pointer, too strong. And Kat Taru's there to bury the rebound. Sid Neshi up the floor. Julia Rowe a drive. A Euro step, and she gets rejected down low. Molly Bonetti So good at the 5 spot for the Wildcats. And here comes West Jenny. Cunningham thought about a 3. She comes off the screen. A skip pass to the left side, and it's too strong. Out of the hands of Bridget Dunham. Costly turnover if you're the Wildcats.
Absolutely. I think in a back-and-forth game like that, you just can't afford to give up small turnovers, especially because that's what the North Stars are feeding off of right now is just dumb luck. Because they're hitting crazy shots, and they're going to continue to do so if you don't, decide to answer with your own shots in the other end.
Under 30 seconds to play here before halftime. Alita carry, Santangelo carrying. Skip pass, left side, Sid Neshy. Neshy a drive, the floater, and she connects. Sid Neshy looks so confident for a sophomore guard.
Neshy, as I mentioned, averaging 5 points per game. She's definitely more than matched that. And in her last matchup against the Wildcats, she had 8 points. So perhaps a team that she likes to shoot against.
Cunningham for 3, too strong. Back of the rim, Julia Rowe pulls down the rebound, and a full court heave is off the mark. So heading into the locker room, the North Stars put a stamp on an explosive first half off the hands of their point guard, Sid Neshy. 39-30 will be their lead by way of 9 points heading to the sidelines, Kyle. What an incredible first half of action that we had to cover here. I mean, back and forth. And look at that, 9-point lead. That's all of Julia Rowe's 3-pointers right there.
Absolutely. I think Julia Rowe has just been an absolute postmark for keeping them in this game. Obviously, if Julia Rowe had not heated up, it would definitely be a different matchup. But a 9-point lead is all the North Stars can get and everything they'll take for sure going into the locker room.
I couldn't agree with you more, Kyle. Contributions from all over the floor, but Julia Rowe was the star of half number 1, knocking down 3 3-pointers in the row. CNS heads to the locker room, a 39-30 lead, Kyle. We'll take a quick break here on the CNS Athletics North Star Network. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate it, and we are just honored to be able to bring the game to you at home. The North Stars and the Wildcats going at it. It's a good SCAC Metro matchup, and CNS heads into the locker room leading by 9. Welcome back here on the North Star Network, presented by CNS Athletics. Giovanni Heater alongside Kyle Marshak with you as always. As the CNS girls varsity basketball team currently holds a 39-30 lead of the West Genesee Wildcats at halftime, just about 30 seconds away from teams gathering and hitting the court once more, Kyle. But a first half that was full of back and forth play. The North Stars had 9 straight points out of Julia Rowe. She hit 9 straight three-pointers, and that's where you find them with a 9-point lead.
Yeah, I mean, those 3 three-pointers alongside that bucket that started it off from the top of the key, a turnaround jumper for 2 as well. I mean, she's just rolling right now. Her theatrics on the court and the offensive, side of it all has just been so impressive and unexpected. As I mentioned, going into this matchup, only 2 points per game. All of a sudden, she's, in double digits, and she can definitely get a double-double with the rebounds, too. That's another underrated aspect of her game. She's one of the leading rebounders, and not just the North Stars, but really Section 3. So her game has improved a lot, and it's very apparent here against the Wildcats.
And you can't go without talking about Jess Cook down low, dropped 28 against Henniger, was dynamic in the first half for CNS as well. Sid Neshi with some big buckets for the North Stars. Tortora got in on it, and Alita Carey Santangelo had some big ones as well. On the other side, it's been all Katie Cunningham, the senior, averaging 24 a game for the Wildcats. She's been the star of the show for West Jenny. Here we go. Back to basketball at Cicero North Syracuse High School. Nashi nearly turns it over, getting her second start of the season. Francesca Tortora top of the key. Tortora now left side. Carrying it, gives it up to Neshi. Right side pass, Rowe, she wants 3, and she hits! Julia Rowe again, Kyle. 4 in a row. Went into the locker room hot, came back out, and picked up right where she left off.
When does she cool off, Gio? When does she cool off? Somebody tell me.
West Jenny trying to respond with a 3 of their own off the mark. Tortora running the floor. Off to Neshi. Neshi down low for Cook. And Jessica Cook buries one.
Wow, what a feed. Quarterback-esque play, just putting it right through the defenders into the only spot that Jess Cook could get it, and she puts it up and in.
And just like that, what was a 9-point lead has been sparked up to 14. That's what this Lady North Stars team does so well, Kyle. They can score points so quickly. It blows my mind. A 5-point swing there, and at this point, you only have not even a minute taken off the clock, but the scoring took place probably within a span of about 15, 20 seconds.
5 points in a matter of 30 seconds. 48 seconds elapsed now into the second half, and already a timeout for Coach Spreeder, who needs to talk things over.
And that's exactly what head coach Robert Seitchen wanted to do coming out of the locker room. But how about Julia Rowe? Hasn't missed a 3-pointer yet. 4 in a row. Absolutely incredible, and she picked up right where she left off.
Yeah, I mean, 100% is as efficient as it gets, but it feels like she's shooting more than 100% with the effectiveness of every shot. She's always making a statement now. I mean, as I mentioned, I'll say it over and over again, her numbers were not fantastic going into this game. You and I, as broadcasters, did not expect it. We already knew that she was an impact in the court off the glass, but man, was this unexpected, Gio. Yeah,
her scoring category has taken a large jump today. Here's West Genesee. Off to Katie Cunningham. She's the bucket getter for the Wildcats. Cunningham pulls it out. Neshi's there as well as Cook with a little bit of a double team. And we'll get a travel called, a walk on the floor, Kyle, and I think that's a good call.
Yeah, I mean, the refs have been talking to us all game, and so we'll have to give them credit for it because they said they'll watch after. But, nonetheless, the refs keeping up with this high-paced game, not an easy job, Gio.
Feed to the inside. It's Jessica Cook. 2 defenders on her, and we'll get a double dribble called against Cook. She didn't like that one. Whistles have been blown on the last 2 plays, and still less than a minute and a half gone. The North Stars hold a 44-30 lead. Erin DePaula carrying for West Jenny. Give off to the left side. In the corner, it's Molly Coyne. Coyne with a cross-court pass. Up to James. James wants 3, and she hits. Molly James, the junior from downtown, and it's just what the Wildcats needed. Jessica Cook lays it up and in, and Daryl White, our stadium announcer, said 2 for the North Stars before the shot even went in the hoop, Kyle. That's how confident he is in the Toledo commit, Jess Cook.
I would do the same thing. Jess Cook's efficiency on the inside is absolutely fantastic.
Katie Cunningham draws the contact, and she'll head to the free throw line for the 2 off the step back J. She is a very explosive player, and I think it's a battle between her and Jess Cook for the best player on the floor tonight, and they're very, very different in their game.
Yeah, very close as well, though, statistically. I mean, Jess Cook, not the hottest performance just yet, although she still is on track for 20 points. So that tells you just how good she is.
Yes.
Cunningham, on the other hand, I mean, she's looking to definitely double her total compared to her last matchup against CNS, where she was only held to 12 points. So that tells you how good the defense is for the Lady North Stars as well.
Some substitutions here on the floor for both squads. And Cunningham misses the second free throw. A foul is called. It goes against the Wildcats. Goes against Molly Benetti, and over the back off the rebound. And a timeout called on the floor. Head coach Robert Seitchin now this time. Looks like he wants to talk things over. Under 6 minutes to play here in quarter number 2, and the North Stars have started very dynamic, very fast, and very explosive.
Yeah, I mean, it was evident off the start of the game where they had a 9-zip start that they were going to control the pace. You and I were turning our heads back and forth, left and right in that first few minutes. It looked like a tennis match, which I make that analogy all the time, but it's just so accurate with the pace at which the North Stars play.
Got to have your head on a swivel at all times as a broadcaster, as well as a player. And it doesn't get any better than a great game here at Cicero North Syracuse High School. We just continue to give our gratitude for being here, right? Didn't think we were going to have a season at this point. Nonetheless, these players get to come out and play. These coaches get to come out and coach. And we got the best seat of the house here, Kyle, courtside, calling some great basketball.
Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't really get any better than this. We're only a few feet away from that sideline, and right behind us are the cheerleaders as well, Gio. So an ever-changing crowd in this home court for CNS High School.
Yes, the first time we have had the cheerleaders here at Cicero North Syracuse High School for a game this season. So absolutely fantastic to welcome them back. Back to basketball we go. Sid Neshi gives it off to Tortora. Thought about a three in the corner. Tortora pass up the floor and lets it go out of bounds. Will stay on this end. Smart play out of Francesca Tortora as Aaron DePaula was the last to touch it. Here's Neshi running the show. Off to Alita Carey Santangelo. Now Neshi, open three from the wing. Too strong. Julia Rowe, a good rebound. Rowe spins, Euro steps, puts it up with the left hand, and she's fouled.
Now this will be important to continuing the momentum for Rose. If she can finish on the inside, obviously that's a part of her game, is that next step up, that 4 spot for the Lady North Stars, definitely a taller player on the court, so she has to be able to play in the post. And so, you know, if she's able to draw fouls in her favor next time, hopefully she'll be able to convert.
It looks like we'll have an offensive foul instead against Julia Rowe, the senior, who's been lights out so far tonight. West Jenny creating separation. Three-pointer off the mark. Cunningham's there to pull down the rebound and put the deuce up and in, rolling it off the rim.
Cunningham, 9 rebounds per game, and she continues to play like so.
Fran Tortora right side. Give to the top of the key, Sid Neshi. Skip pass to Alita. Alita a drive, and the right-handed lay-in. The floater strikes the net, splashing it home.
The finishing ability and layup package for Alita is just, it's so variant but so beautiful every time. She's just so athletic, knows what to do with both hands when she gets to that finishing opportunity.
Cunningham with a great feed to Molly Benetti, who connects for 2 points on the scoreboard. Here's Fran Tortora. Off to Neshi. Try to get it to Rowe. Now Cook on the paint. Cook inside, 2 hands in her face, to a cutting Rowe, who lays it up and in. Julia Rowe, an offensive onslaught tonight.
Absolutely, Rowe, ever efficient and ever agile. You see it on display on that play right there.
And a big triple there in response for West Genesee, Kyle. Again, my head wasn't on enough of a swivel there, I can completely say, because I was looking at the scoreboard and you tapped me for 3. But a big triple. West Jenny needed it. North Stars hold a 9-point lead. So again, West Jenny still continuing to remain in this ball game. Need a couple of stops. The North Stars can't be stopped.
Yeah, the best part about it, you know, it's, you and I are watching the Lady North Stars. They, when they're on their runs, just expand so far away. They create that double-digit lead, but then the Wildcats always there to respond. I mean, you mentioned it. You know, the Wildcats, as long as they stay with them and are able to respond possession for possession, you know, hypothetically, they're still in this game. Statistically, they are as well, only 9 points down, which feels like a lot for the North Stars, but isn't enough, especially with the way the Wildcats are sporadically scoring tonight.
And we'll see what Katie Cunningham has to offer coming out, but Molly Benetti has been dominant down low, really impressive, because it's a tall task to go up against Julia Rowe Jessica Cook, and of course, you also have Madeline Howell in there as well. That's a tall task, a daunting task, you could say. And Molly Benetti's done a really nice job at the 5.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Benetti obviously at the 5, it's an unfortunate task for her because Jess Cook is just so talented with her size and her ability. And if we look at the stats from that last matchup when CNS visited the Wildcats, Jess Cook, 24 points. Her counterpart in Benetti, only 4. Let's see if Benetti can improve that tonight.
And now the North Stars to inbound. Alita Carey Santangelo looked like she wanted to send it all the way up the floor for a second. This time she does. Francesca Tortora, the Euro step. She gets rejected down low. And again, a big play by Benetti, but Jessica Cook just rips it right out of her hands and puts 2 more points on the scoreboard.
That's just bully ball right there, Gio.
Now West Jenny in need of a bucket. Deep 3, Molly James, no good. And Julia Rowe is there to gobble up the rebound. North Stars running the floor. Cook inside, off the feed from Alita Carey Santangelo, and Francesca Tortora is fouled on the putback. She'll shoot 2.
Follow-up, that's number 23, Molly James, her second personal. Team second. Analyze shooting
3:32 left to go in the third quarter, Kyle, and this game has just flown by here tonight at CNS High School. As Tortora misses the first one rather. Too strong to the right side.
Yeah, I think, to credit with how fast this game is zooming by for maybe us having so much fun, but for the North Stars as well, it's just the pace, They're pushing the tempo, and so are the Wildcats. I mean, even when they're trying to slow down the game, quickly up the court the Wildcats go.
And Tortora extends the lead to 12 for the North Stars, 53-41, with under 3.5 to play here in quarter number 3. Molly James thought about a 3. Give to the top of the key. Now it triples up. Too strong, no good for Aaron DePaula, but an offensive rebound finds the hands of the Wildcats. Molly James back to DePaula. DePaula will go at Tortora, gives it off to Cunningham. Cunningham wants 3, off the rim, no good. Jess Cook comes flying in for another rebound, elbows swinging. Jess Cook is a mean player down low, Kyle.
I mean, just so physical, and she uses it so well. Her efficiency with her physicality, her ability with it. I mean, again, it's just, as an athlete, to be 6 foot plus, 7 foot plus for some of these players we see in college basketball, it's just so difficult to be athletic, yet she does it, and she's so nimble on the inside, Gio.
Julia Rowe walked with it. She didn't look happy with the call. Molly James, downtown, air ball. Missed everything. Out of bounds, the ball flies. Trying to save it was Molly Benetti, but we'll head the other way as Kat Taru checks in for the North Stars, and Bridget Dunham will head into the ballgame as well. Watch Dunham, the freshman, who's got a lot of talent for the Wildcats, possibly that spark that they need right now off the bench down 12.
Absolutely. Kat Taru in her last matchup against the West Genesee Wildcats, 10 points, so she had quite the game. When it came to Dunham, I mean, she can hit 3-pointers well, two 3-pointers versus CNS in their last matchup, but only 6 points, so no other buckets on the court.
Jess Cook pulls up left side elbow, no good. Here comes Katie Cunningham running into a pack of North Stars, and a foul is called on the floor. It'll go against Francesca Tortora, and a good job of Katie Cunningham to draw some contact. 2:15 on the clock here in quarter number 3. 53-41 remains the lead for the North Stars. 30 seconds on the shot clock for West Jenny. Molly gives it back up to the top. Now Katie Cunningham with it right wing. Cross-court pass, trying to find the freshman Dunham, and that's the second or third time the pass has been too strong for her hands.
Yeah, Dunham, of course, a younger player, perhaps a little bit of nerves coming out here against such a tall task of a team, but again, I mean, you just can't afford to make those small mistakes against the North Stars because they'll capitalize 9 out of 10 times. Let's see if they do it right here.
And Alita Carey Santangelo is one of the best at doing it. Look at head coach Rob Seichin coaching hard along the sideline. Feed to the middle. Jess Cook gets it poked out. And off the hands of Molly Benetti. Will stay here. North Stars with 14 on the shot clock. Here Coach Robert Seichin saying shift it out a little bit. We'll see how the offense changes here. Francesca Tortora to pass it in. 1:45 to go in quarter 3. Into Carey Santangelo. Alita gives it off. Julia Rowe thought about a 3, Kyle. Drive to the inside, off the rebound, no good, but Jess Cook's there to put it in. North Stars up 14. 1.5 to play, and these turnovers begin to add up for West Genesee.
Absolutely, and Cook quickly up the court and settling down for the defense, too. I mean, just such tenacity in the player, the leadership.
Three-pointer, no good. Bonetti's there to scoop up the rebound, the putback, and West Genny desperately needed a bucket on that trip.
Bonetti, as I mentioned, only 4 points last time against CNS. Looking to improve that this time around.
Jess Cook's fouled on the other end, and just like that, the speed of the teams going all the way down the court, and Jess Cook will head to the free throw line for 2 count. These empty possessions for West Genesee beginning to add up because simply the North Stars haven't had many. They almost score every time down the floor. If you're West Genesee, you got to find a way to get some stops, but mostly you can't go unanswered buckets.
Absolutely. I mean, this may sound silly, but fouls are really the only thing that's going to stop the pace of this game right now because they are not slowing down when the clock is ticking away.
Cook missed the first. 1:08 to go on the clock in quarter 3. 55-43 a lead for the North Stars by way of 12. And Cook for her second. And Jess buries 1 of 2. So now some substitutions here as the refs hold things off for a moment. Checking into the game for West Genesee, a couple of new faces. And we'll see what the Wildcats can do here. Bridget Dunham thought about it. Give off to the right side. Three-pointer, top of the key. Off the rim, no good. Kat Taru swarms in for the rebound. Colleen McNearney tried to hit. Alita carries Santangelo all the way to the tin, too strong. She gets the rebound. And a timeout is called. Head coach Robert Seitchen saw his player in trouble and decided we'll take a second to talk things over. We'll savor the possession. Draw something up here. 19 will be on the shot clock, Kyle. And the North Stars beginning to finally pull away with this thing a little bit. You don't want to say West Genesee's out of it by any means necessary. But again, the empty possessions continue to add up.
Absolutely. I mean, you said it best. The empty possessions, you just can't afford to have any in a string of an offensive onslaught by the North Stars. You have to be able to answer. I made that analogy earlier. It's like a long-distance run. You see that runner go out to make that move early on. You have to be able to stay with them. You have to be able to match it. And right now, they're just pulling away, simply put.
The North Stars and the Wildcats have pretty much gone jab for jab tonight. And we'll see if CNS can deliver the knockout punch or if after an 8 count, West Genesee will get up off the mat.
I love the analogies here. You and I back and forth tonight. It almost feels competitive.
I know, right? Well, I get to fight analogies from you because I had never been into either MMA or boxing or any of that, and you got me into that, my friend. So I blame you for that analogy.
Hey, I mean, in a sense, this is almost like an MMA match because you don't get the standing 8. It's just constant battle.
That's a very good way to put it as well. We're on fire over here in the booth.
The only thing that can stop it is the ref.
Yes.
Perhaps not so basketball left.
And they've done it tonight. They've come over and talked to us a handful of times on the sideline.
Absolutely. They're stopping our action.
Yes. 39.7 to go here in the third quarter. The North Stars trying to take a bucket. Julia Rowe for 3. Off the back of the rim. No good. That was the biggest heat check of the night. Not a bad shot by any means. She's wide open. And finally, she seems human so far tonight because she's been on fire. Three-pointer, Dunham wants it. No good. Rowe, the rebound, adding another one to her total. She's got to have a double-double tonight. We will fact-check that, but she's on fire.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, a rebounding machine alongside the fact that she can shoot.
And Alita carries Santangelo, dribbles it off her leg. As West Genesee will inbound, 11.3 on the clock, quarter number Trace. Bridget Dunham to toss it in. Taking it up the floor, running the point is Erin DePaula, the junior. Over to Dunham. Dunham with a pump fake. Back to DePaula. Now Dunham, the freshman again. DePaula once more, and that will conclude quarter number 3. The three-point heave off the mark, and the North Stars with a big quarter number 3. 56-43 is the lead. Lots of threes here in the CNS gym tonight. The North Stars lead by 13.
Absolutely. I mean, a ton of three-pointing, and honestly, a majority of that coming from Julia Rowe. But on the other end, I mean, Katie Cunningham has been shooting. Some of her counterparts. Erin DePaula, a girl that can draw fouls, but she hasn't been afraid to shoot either.
Neither is Molly James.
Yeah, Molly James. And you stole the words right off my mouth. And of course, Molly
Sorry,
Benetti on
buddy.
the inside, another glass cleaner who's been competing with Jess Cook and Julia Roll all night. So I mean, just so much talent on this court. You can only fit so much of it, and it seems like they really packed it full.
8 minutes left to go, Kyle, and you're on the West Genesee sideline right now. What is Stafford Spreeder saying to his squad? Because they're not out of this. They've been down by this many so far tonight, and they've brought it back within 7 from down 13 or 12 or 11. So they're not out of this game. They need to get some stops. If you're Coach Spreeder, what are you talking to your team about right now?
Well, I mean, if I were Coach Spreeder, in his 6th year right now, he's certainly commanded his leadership. The seniors, including Cunningham, have commanded their leadership. Obviously, a very old team, only one freshman on the squad. I don't really think it comes down to who's going to stand out just because there's so much leadership on the squad. It's just they have to be able to have that chemistry on the court, and so they're probably drawing up a lot of plays to create the separation they need to execute in the inside, because right now, if Jess Cook is there, they can't finish, and so they need to draw her out in some way, perhaps a screen, perhaps some rotation on the inside, whatever they can do to create space.
8 minutes left to go here at Cicero North Syracuse High School in what's been an absolute barn burner tonight on the CNS Athletics North Star Network. Thanks so much for tuning in and joining us. 8 minutes left to go, 1 quarter left. West Genesee trying to get up off the mat after the 8 count and make one last push at victory. The North Stars trying to hold on to a 13-point lead. Katie Cunningham, the lady with the ball, and she's the best one to do it so far tonight for the Wildcats. Off to Dunham at the top. Thought about a 3. Gives it off again. Dunham. Cunningham for triple, and off the mark, no good. Alita carries Santangelo. The empty possession adds up. Santangelo coast to coast, and the floater falls.
She took it all the way. I mean, that's a Westbrook-esque play right there. I don't try and make NBA comparisons often, but look at that athleticism right there.
3-pointer off the mark here for Bridget Dunham. The North Stars carry Santangelo up the floor again. Thought about it, gave it off. Triple, no good. Too strong that time for the North Stars and Sid Neshi. And West Genesee trying to respond. A minute gone in quarter 4. Here's Cunningham. Give to the top to Paula. Off to Dunham. Dunham thought about it. Now a kick to the inside, tipped out of bounds by Kat Taru. Will stay here.
It's a good possession, although it was kicked out. I mean, it's another statement for the Wildcats. The ball movement is improving, and that's exactly what I expected out of Coach Streeter, who needs to move the ball as much as possible, get the players rotating, setting the screens in order to create as much space as possible, because right now they're all packed in the paint, and they can't afford to do that because, that's a less efficient shot if you're all stuffed in there.
Molly Coyne checks in for the Wildcats. 2-pointer is off the mark here. Cunningham has certainly cooled down just a little bit. The North Stars trying to put away the dagger. Jess Cook down low. Fouls called on the floor, so Jess Cook will shoot 2.
Again, Jess Cook, drawing those fouls. She's definitely had a lot of free throw attempts tonight. I'd like to see the statistic on that, but I know she does average 4.5 free throws, made per game, and she's definitely looking to, add to that tonight.
Here's Cook, 6.5 to play. North Stars lead it big, and she buries the first.
Teammates always there for the high fives. It's a team of routine, Gio.
It is. It very is. Cook for the second. Rattled off the rim, bounced home, and that's the home court kind of roll that you get on your home floor. 60-43, the North Stars with their largest lead of the ball game by way of 17. Cunningham wants to come back, and she does. A dagger that the Wildcats needed to put some energy into this team and get a spark going on the sideline as well. Cook lays it up and in on the other end, assisted by Alita Carey Santangelo. You can't even catch your breath because they're just so fast and so dynamic on the floor, Kyle.
Absolutely, Gio. I'm glad I didn't bring my suit jacket because it's heating up in here a little bit. Back and forth. Cunningham with a statement 3-pointer, and then Jess Cook on the other end just says, I'll match that with my own work on the inside.
These two teams just incredibly fun to watch. North Stars lead at 62-46, 6:15 left to play in the ball game. And that 3-pointer was big for Katie Cunningham because it really did look like the North Stars had all the momentum and still do, especially after Jess Cook buried one down low. And the West Genesee Wildcats just looking for a couple of big possessions, but the main priority, you have to find a way to stop the North Stars. They haven't been able to find that answer to the question all night. And quite frankly, nobody has this season. That's why the North Stars are 6-0, looking to make it 7.
Yeah, I mean, the unanswerable question, Gio, what can these teams do to defeat Jess Cook's work on the inside, to defeat the shooting of Julia Rowe tonight, but her glass work as well? I mean, there's just so many aspects to the North Stars game that just seems undefeatable, including their record.
6:15, Kyle. How in it is Stafford, Streeter, and these Wildcats right now?
I'd say, the Wildcats, an ever-tenacious team, and, despite what the scoreboard dictates, I think they're always in it, especially with Cunningham and the way she scores in large spurts. And I think as long as the other team stays with her, she needs to have that supporting cast, and if those supporting roles are there with her, it makes for a really good play.
If I'm the North Stars, I'm keeping Jess Cook on the floor for the rest of the night. Wildcats sharing the ball well, trying to find an open three. Molly James gives it to the middle, back to James. Now top of the key. Thinking about a three was DePaula, the pump fake. Dish to the middle, trying to find a bucket or the Wildcats, and finally Katie Cunningham's fouled on the putback. Benetti had a good look at it, but there to pick up the slack was Cunningham.
Again, I mean, Benetti's been a little bit quieter tonight. As I mentioned last time, 4 points against CNS. She averages 10. And again, I mean, with Cunningham's performances on the squad, Stafford Spreeder is a great director, but there's just no supporting role players for Katie Cunningham, that leading star. So she needs to have those players with her. There's obviously great chemistry with the ball movement, but no one else is scoring except her, frankly put.
5:53 left to go in the ball game. And going 2 for 2 from the line is Katie Cunningham. She's only missed 1 all night. Now in the game is Braden Schultz for the North Stars, worth noting. Julia Rowe looks like she'll check it back in. Kat Taru right side, give to the middle. Jess Cook, and a foul on the floor. It goes against West Jenny. Will stay right here.
Number 14, Molly Benetti, her third personal.
Braden Schultz will head back to the sideline. Coming in is Julia Rowe, and the Coach Seichen, having words with Schultz, 5'10" junior forward, who had 10 against Henniger the other night. Sid Nashi passes it in. Jessica Cook, the hook shot. Contact drawn. She'll shoot 2.
I mean, it's so impressive. How many times can she draw fouls throughout the game? Obviously, with her post work on the inside, she's so physical. Players like Benetti can't help but respond to get handsy. That's really the only way that you can stop her. And as I mentioned, the only thing that's going to slow down the pace of this game are the fouls on the inside.
Jess Cook is going to be fun to watch next year at Toledo.
The most surprising part about this squad to me, Gio, is that she's the only D1 commit. I mean,
that's very true.
It's unbelievable how much talent is packed into one roster.
Cook goes 1 for 2 from the line. Lead extends 63-48. 5.5 left to play, and it's desperation time here if you're West Jenny. Molly James gives to the top of the key. Cunningham thought about it. Top of the key, triple. Off the back rim, too strong. Everybody fighting for it, and it finds the hands of Sid Nashi. Nashi coast to coast. Gives it off to Carrie Santangelo. The alley-oop almost fell. What an athletic play. A block down low by Benetti. That would have been the highlight of the night, I think.
My goodness. And I think what's gone really, really unnoticed is Sid Nashi can really toss those dimes out there. I mean, she's like a change maker. It's just unbelievable. Obviously so quick down the court, and she replaced the space of Alexa Kulikowski, who's been out recently so well at point guard, pushing Alita and Fran up this spot. And so it's just so impressive how she can go down and drop dimes.
And a big triple there. Who shot it, Kyle? You know it's Katie Cunningham.
Cunningham back and forth with those three-point shots. Rowe might have to respond here, but nonetheless, the North Stars might have to fight back. It's been a punch-for-punch battle, as you mentioned.
West Jenny in a full-court press. Francesca Tortora almost hit the net home, but Jess Cook was there to pick up the mess. 4.5 to play. North Stars continue to lay it on the Wildcats, but they won't go away without a fight. Benetti going at Cook. No good. Cook swatted it away. Rowe tried to dive for the rebound. Out of bounds it goes. We should stay at this end, I believe, and we will.
Hey,
no, we'll head the other way. Julia Rowe to inbound.
The refs have been
and that's
speaking with us
surprising.
in between. And they feel really comfortable with this game tonight, but I would not, simply just because it's so tough to tell all these calls. It's a back-and-forth game, and it's oh so physical.
Alita Carey Santangelo had her shot rejected. Tortora fights for the rebound, gets there. Really good play there by Francesca Tortora to pull down that rebound and just kind of box out Katie Cunningham.
Hey, Francesca Tortora, you know, I mentioned that Jess Cook, the only D1 player on the squad, but Fran Tortora going D1 for lacrosse.
Yeah.
So no lack of athleticism and no lack of, you know, variance in what sports these girls play. And you see the physicality from lacrosse coming into play right there for Fran Tortora.
Yeah, she'll be playing at Stony Brook in a couple of years, and that's one of the most impressive Division I lacrosse programs on the women's side and the men's side, but especially the women's side. Really, really good place to play lacrosse. Have a pipeline in Long Island. As Alita Carey Santangelo buries a triple, and that could be the knife in the back of the Wildcat.
Yeah, Alita averaging 9 points per game. She's definitely looking to expand that tonight with another three-pointer.
Top of the key. Now right side for West Jenny. A baseline drive and a big two lay in for Molly Coyne, the senior with her first points of the night.
There's that supporting cast member for Katie Cunningham making a statement. And you mentioned it earlier with the boxing analogy that, you know, it's not often players can really come back from getting knocked down, but here the Wildcats are.
Now here's CNS. Carey Santangelo in a little bit of trouble. Gives it off to Nessie. Nessie, the open jumper, no good. And Cunningham's there to pull the rebound away from Cook. Just about 3 minutes left to go. 68-53 is your score. Cunningham drive to the inside. She's fouled. Jess Cook can't believe it.
Yeah, Jess Cook, not afraid to show her disgust with some of the calls tonight, but you know what? She can afford to do that, averaging 27 points this season.
Yes, that's fair. That's a good point. That's a good point, but she definitely does voice her opinion on some of the calls. 3:13 left to go here. 68-53 the lead for the North Stars by way of 15. Inbounds good. And the bucket is good. Molly Coyne, the senior, with back-to-back possessions and back-to-back points for West Genesee. 68-55, the North Stars lead by 13. Rowe chasing after it, keeps it in play somehow. Alita Carey Santangelo got it to Tortora, and Tortora with the left wing jumper from the elbow connects.
Look at the ball movement right there. Rowe putting it back in. Alita back out to Fran, who hits the dagger from deep.
Jess Cook with a steal inside. Cook coast to coast. Now she gets this ball stolen. Coyne's there. It lands in the hands of Cook, who hits the deck. It looks like we might have an injury on the floor.
Officials timeout.
And all a hush here at CNS High School.
Morgan Valerino is the senior down on the floor for the North Stars, and it looks like both teams will head to the sidelines. We'll take a very brief break here on the CNS Athletics North Star Network. Thanks so much for being here again. Giovanni here alongside Kyle Marshak, and just out of respect, we'll take a quick injury timeout here on the North Star Network. CNS leads it 70-55, 2.5 to go.
Nice round of applause for the injured Wildcat coming off. Second for the Wildcats, number 14,
All right, welcome back here on the CNS Athletics North Star Network. Giovanni Heater alongside Kyle Marshak tonight. Under 2.5 to play. 70-55 is where the North Stars lead. Again, we had an injury timeout, took a little bit of a break, and we're back. Jess Cook at the free throw line to shoot 2. And it's so weird being the only one in the gym talking when free throws take place as Cook swishes home the first.
Yeah, you feel like the spotlight's on you. I mean, you and I as broadcasters, especially in a COVID basketball season, everything is different.
Keeping it safe, keeping it classy here at CNS. Jess Cook goes 2 for 2 from the free throw line, and when she needs them, she's made them down the stretch of this ball game.
Yeah, that's a clutch free throw right there. Another statement down the stretch. 17-point lead for the North Stars.
Erin DePaula gives it off James, back to DePaula. Now Molly James. Cross-court pass. Again, it's DePaula. Give to the right side. Coming back to it's DePaula. And a foul is called. It goes against the North Stars. Francesca Torratore picks up another one.
And look at that ball movement on that possession for the Wildcats. I mean, it's evident that they have to make a statement possession right here with 2:07 left. Again, back to that boxing analogy, you hear that 10 seconds to go, and the final punches are going to be traded.
Going the distance, as you called it, and going the distance tonight has been Katie Cunningham. Might be too little too late, but she's done it all for West Jenny. Alita Carey Santangelo gives it off to Nashi. Back to Julia Rowe. Alita's open, elects not to shoot. Finds Rowe again. Rowe thought about a 3, now it's Francesca. Back to Rowe. Rowe looking at the hoop, surveying the field. Crossover dribble over to Alita. Alita a drive, a spin move, back to Rowe. Rowe wants 3, and she knocks it down. Julia Rowe, 5 for 6 from downtown tonight.
Hey, I mean, I have 10 fingers, and I feel like I've lost track of how many three-pointers she's hit tonight. And not just three-pointers, but daggers. She opened it up with a dagger from the top of the key, a deep 2, Gio, so her game has improved so much tonight.
And that could be the knife in the back of the West Genesee Wildcats. Three-pointer off the mark for Cunningham. Offensive rebound Coyne. Give back to Molly James. Thought about a triple. Elects not to. Now a give. Over to Erin DePaula. Kick to the inside, Coyne. Coyne finds Benetti. Rolls off the left side of the rim. No good. And a rebound for the North Stars. Up the floor goes Alita Carey Santangelo. And under a minute to play here in the CNS gym, the North Stars. Looks like they will close out a massive win here. West Genesee gave them a great fight. Sid Neshi wants one from downtown, too strong. Rebound Cunningham. And a timeout is called. Stafford Spreeder wants to talk things over for the last 30 seconds here. The North Stars lead 75-57. West Genesee's played one great game tonight, but the North Stars are just too tough to beat. They don't miss. They really just don't have empty possessions. They don't stop, right? There's no runs when you're playing CNS. Like, they just don't stop scoring. They go one empty possession, they're there for the next one.
Absolutely. I mean, you could say that the entire basketball game is one large run for the North Stars. I mean, you could say this basketball game was a 75-57 run for the North Stars just because they're that efficient consistently. And it's the consistency that is key. And you see it here for the Wildcats as well. Responding to that last game against the North Stars where they lost by 30. Today, possibly less than 20.
Now West Genesee has put some of their reserves in for the last couple minutes of the ball game. Molly Coyne, corner 3, no good. The North Stars have done the same. Rebound for CNS, Nicole O'Neill. Alita will run out the clock. 3, 2, 1, and that does it. CNS with a big win, advancing to 7-0 on the season. Your final score, 75-57, Kyle. What an offensive onslaught out of the North Stars. They look good offensively, defensively. West Genesee gave it their best possible effort. We had a great game throughout, and down the stretch, it was the North Stars pulling away.
And the most exciting part about it, Gio, is that we have a couple of seniors on the court when they start that are always exciting, and that's always the 2 girls on the inside, Julia Rowe and Jess Cook. The best part about it is that statistically going into this game, as the refs congratulate us in the game, is that, Julia Rowe, not so impressive offensively, but going into this game, she wanted to evolve, and as a senior, she's ever evolving. And so are the rest of the Lady North Stars, a lot of youth to carry on the success as they move on to 7-0.
And we will welcome in just a moment or so Julia Rowe over to the booth. We'll talk things over with her. Have to ask her about those dynamic 3-pointers, Kyle. So we'll take a quick break here on the CNS Athletics North Star Network. Don't go anywhere. Your final score here, 75-57. The North Stars take it. All right, welcome back here on the CNS Athletics North Star Network. Again, Giovanni Heater alongside Kyle Marshak with you tonight. CNS takes it over West Genesee 75-57. Your final score, the North Stars advance to 7-0 on the season. Joining us courtside, Julia Rowe. Fantastic game from the field tonight. An absolute scoring outpour from you. How did your confidence build throughout the game? How were you able to hit all those threes? I mean, you had us screaming over here.
Well, we are down our best shooter, Alexa Kulikowski. She's out having to quarantine with COVID. So our coach said people need to step up. I haven't been scoring as much as I usually do, but I really had to step up tonight, and I'm glad I did.
Well, step up you did, Julia. I mean, coming into this game, averaging only 3 points per game. Tonight, I mean, I'd have to imagine, although we don't have the stats with us, 15-plus with 4 3-pointers. And, you know, a dagger to start it off from the top of the key, a deep 2. What changes did you make coming into this matchup other than the mentality that you really thought got you to shoot from deep so well?
I play the same game every time. I'm never going to be the scorer. Usually I come in and I do the little things, and that's what I do. But tonight I just said, hey, someone's got to shoot more. Might as well be me. And I'm a great shooter, and when I shoot, it usually goes in. But I haven't been shooting as much.
Absolutely fantastic to hear, Julia. 7-0 on the season. Now, obviously, no state run this year, no section run this year, but hey, an undefeated season, what could that mean for this North Stars as you currently sit at 7-0?
It's huge. We didn't even think we were going to play this year, and just to have the opportunity to play, let alone go undefeated, is incredible, and I couldn't ask for anything more my senior season.
Well, we thank you for hopping on, Julia. Quite a performance for you tonight, and Gio to wrap it up.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks again, Julia. Congrats to you and the North Stars.
Thanks.
Again, that's CNS senior Julia Rowe on the team. Had an onslaught of scoring, a very impressive performance for her and the rest of the North Stars. So that'll wrap it up for tonight here on the CNS Athletics North Star Network. Thank you so much, as always, to everybody tuning in. Kyle, your final remarks on tonight's game.
I mean, quite a impressive performance, excuse me. I mean, the Wildcats, although losing by about 20-plus, I think the statement they made by reducing that loss as compared to last time where it was a 30-plus point loss, I think it's extremely impressive. And Katie Cunningham, a lot of changes to make, but, you know, her game is just so impressive. Well-rounded, she can shoot from deep, she finishes well on the inside. And again, I'll make that analogy all over again. Spreeder, a great director of this play, but he needs to have that supporting cast alongside his leading star in Katie Cunningham.
Absolutely. Nonetheless, the North Stars advance to 7-0 on the season, and the historic run continues for the Lady North Stars. That'll do it here from Cicero North Syracuse High School. Thank you so much to Daryl White, our broadcast and stadium announcer, as well as our music player. Thank you so much to our trainer, Katie, our athletic director, Tim Bednarski, and Mr. Howell, our stadium manager. Thanks so much to everybody who makes this happen, the coaches, players, officials, referees. Without them, high school basketball wouldn't be taking place in 2021. We're grateful to be here every week. And the North Stars take down West Genesee. Final score, 75-57. For Kyle Marshak, I'm Giovanni Heater, and we'll see you next time.